Before you know my name, you already know my face. You have seen me glowing beneath the night sky. A city of lights, a forest of towers rising beside the sea, a place where millions of people arrive searching for the same thing. A perfect view, and I understand why. From a distance, I look almost impossible. The lights, the harbour, the mountains protecting my edges, the endless movement. But every city has two versions. The one people come to see, and the one that remembers. Because buildings can tell you where I am, but they cannot tell you who I was. They cannot tell you about the people who arrived here carrying nothing but dreams. They cannot tell you about the streets that disappeared, the neighborhoods that changed, the voices that slowly faded into history. They cannot tell you about the places that no longer exist, but still live inside me. Most visitors look at my skyline. Few look beneath it. Few ask what stories are hidden between my light. So tonight, allow me to show you another side of myself. Not the Hong Kong you already know, but the Hong Kong I remember. Every journey begins here, above the noise, above the streets, above the millions of lives moving below. For many visitors, this is their first moment with me. They climb higher, and suddenly I appear. A city carved between mountains and water, a place where nature and human ambition stand face to face. From here, I look organized, confident, almost permanent. My towers reach toward the sky. My harbour stretches beneath them. Everything seems carefully designed. But I was never created from a perfect plan. I was built through change, through movement, through people arriving from somewhere else, people who brought their own memories and added them to mine. The view from above tells only part of my story. Because every building you see stands on ground that already had a past. Before the glass, before the light, before I became one of the world's most recognizable skylines, I was still learning who I would become. But there is something important about this journey. You cannot simply arrive at the top. You have to travel there. You have to leave the streets behind. You have to climb. For more than a century, people have made this journey upward, not only to see the view, but to experience the transformation. The noise slowly disappears. The buildings become smaller. The city changes perspective. From the streets, I can feel overwhelming. From above, I become a story, a collection of paths, connections, memories. The journey upward reminds me of something I have learned many times. Change does not happen all at once. It happens slowly, one step, one generation, one story at a time. mountains gave me perspective. The water gave me purpose. Before I was known for towers, I was known for my harbour. The sea was never just around me, it was part of me. For generations, ships arrived carrying more than goods. They carried stories, languages, cultures, dreams, people searching for a new beginning. Some stayed for a short time, others never left. And slowly, they changed me. This is the secret of every great city. They are not built only by architects, they are built by arrivals, by people who bring pieces of another world and leave something behind. My identity was never created by standing still. It was created by movement, by the constant meeting of different lives, different ideas, different futures. Every wave that reached my shore carried a new chapter, and every chapter became part of who I am. The harbour brought the world to me, but time decided what I would keep. Because every city must answer one question: how do you change without losing yourself? The harbour brought the world to me, but time decided what I would keep. Every city has a way of measuring its own existence. Some count their age in monuments, some in battles, some in generations. I have always counted mine in moments. And here, beside the water, stands one of them, the clock tower. For generations, it has watched people arrive and watched others leave. It stood at the edge of the harbour when ships were the connection between worlds, when journeys took weeks instead of hours, when stepping onto these shores meant entering an unknown future. The station that once stood beside it is gone. The railway that carried people toward new beginnings has changed. The city around it has transformed. But the tower remains, a reminder that even when everything moves forward, some memories choose to stay. Perhaps that is why old places matter. Not because they stop time, but because they allow us to feel it passing. There are places that try to remain exactly as they were. And there are places that survive because they learn how to become something new. This building carries one of my many transformations. Once, these walls belonged to another era, a time when the harbour was watched from here, when ships arrived carrying people and possibilities, when this area represented a different chapter of my story. Today, the voices are different. The purpose has changed. The world outside has changed. But the walls remain. And perhaps that is the secret of survival. Not refusing change, accepting it. A city that cannot change becomes frozen in the past. A city that forgets its past loses itself. I learned to live between those two worlds. To move forward while carrying yesterday with me. Because every new chapter is built on the pages that came before. By now, you have seen the Hong Kong most people come to discover. The view, the harbour, the landmarks, the places that survived. But every city also carries another kind of history, the stories that are harder to explain, the places that disappeared, the memories that remain, even when the walls are gone. There was once a place inside me, unlike anywhere else on Earth. It stood only a short distance from the modern city around it. Yet it felt like another world. A place where thousands of lives existed inside an impossible space. A place that challenged every idea of what a city could be. Its name was Kowloon Walled City. The world often remembers it through images, dense buildings, narrow passages, dark corners, a place that seemed impossible. Many saw chaos, many saw disorder, many saw a warning of what cities should never become. But memories are never that simple, because behind every window, there was a person. Behind every wall, there was a family. Behind every narrow corridor, there was a life. The world saw the structure. I remember the people. People often describe the walled city by what made it unusual: its size, its density, its impossible design. But places are not remembered because of their measurements. They are remembered because of what happened inside them. Inside those walls, ordinary life continued. People woke up. Families shared meals. Workers created businesses. Neighbors knew each other's voices. Children grew up surrounded by a world that outsiders struggled to understand. It was not perfect. No city ever is. But it was alive. And perhaps that is what made it impossible to forget. Because cities are not only made of beautiful buildings, they are made of human stories. Sometimes those stories happen in famous places. Sometimes they happen in places the world would rather ignore. But every story becomes part of the city that carries it. And Kowloon Walled City became part of me. Today, the walls are gone. The streets are silent. The space has changed. But memory has a strange way of surviving. Because some places do not disappear when they are gone. They simply become stories. And stories are the hardest things to erase. Today, if you walk through this place, you might not notice anything unusual. You might see trees, quiet paths, stone, light, a peaceful corner of a city that never seems to slow down. But places are more than what they look like. Sometimes, what is missing tells the biggest story. Because beneath these paths, beneath this silence, there is a memory. A different city once existed here. A city of narrow passages. A city where thousands of lives unfolded in a space the world struggled to understand. The walls are gone. The voices are gone. The streets have changed. But something remains. Not something you can photograph. Not something you can measure. A feeling. A reminder. The idea that every place carries invisible layers. The present is always standing on top of the past. People often believe that history belongs to monuments, to grand buildings, to places protected behind glass. But some of the most important stories survive differently. They survive through people, through memories, through conversations, through the feeling that a place once mattered. Kowloon Walled City became more than a location. It became a symbol, a reminder that human beings adapt, that communities can exist in unexpected places, that even imperfect spaces can hold meaningful lives. Perhaps that is why people around the world are still fascinated by it, not because it was unusual, but because it was human. It represented something every city understands: the desire to belong, the desire to create a home, the desire to leave something behind. But my story did not end there, because cities do not live in the past. They carry it, and then they continue. Every night, I begin again. The streets fill with voices, lights return to the buildings. People hurry toward tomorrow. New dreams arrive. New stories begin. The world sees a modern city moving at incredible speed. And again, they are right. But speed is not the only thing that defines me. Look closer. Behind every street, behind every window, behind every light, there is a story. Someone building a future, someone remembering a past, someone arriving here for the first time, someone who will one day become part of my memory. That is what I have always been. Not a finished creation, a living story. When you first saw me, you probably saw the same thing everyone sees: a skyline, a harbour, a city reaching toward the future. And there is nothing wrong with that. I am proud of those things. But I hope you see something more now. Because a city is not only what rises above the ground, it is also what remains beneath it. The forgotten streets, the old buildings, the people who arrived with nothing and built something, the places that disappeared but refused to be forgotten. My towers will continue to change. My streets will continue to move. New chapters will replace old ones. That is the nature of life. That is the nature of cities. But somewhere beneath every light, beneath every reflection on the harbour, beneath every photograph taken from above, I still carry everything that came before. The harbour remembers the journeys. The old stones remember the past. The streets remember the people. And I remember them all. I am Hong Kong. Not just the city you see, but the story you feel. And this is what I remember.